The training has begun. Today we're hooking up with David, a friend, waterman, and owner of Lakana Fly Kite School. Okay, you need a little background here. Let's go back 6, 7, 8 months and let's see how this whole sit kite adventure started.
It's a weird feeling to be sitting here and like, this is the gear that's gonna make it possible for me to keep kiting. You know, Mike didn't know this yet.
This is Mike, a friend, a patron, an epic kiter, and a retired Cal State firefighter.
When we were talking to you about this originally, it was getting hard to ride. I was already, had lost too much muscle to really kite much.
What a coincidence that you know that I ride for F1. I got a hold of Bruce and he's like, yeah, we actually have one in the warehouse.
We were in a place that barely had internet access. And you found the board, but you have to get the seat and the frame.
The frame was
Denmark. It's made out of some kind of aluminum that I guess does especially well in saltwater.
The seat, France.
It's heavy, but it's not that heavy.
And then you had the connection for all the hardware. So.
Well, and it's custom.
Right.
You know,
right.
They make the seat to your measurements, which did we measure correctly on this moving boat without all the stuff you're supposed to use. You know?
I saw you guys with like little planks and measurements.
It's really cool that F1 did this. It's the only company that I'm aware of in the world that actually makes a production model board for people with disabilities. Or who just want to ride sitting down.
That's a great looking board.
We finished putting it together at my parents' house. We tested it out in the pool. Then we tried it off the transom of Kiapa Nui, but getting into the seat while floating in the water didn't work out so well. So we switched to the other transom where Ryan strapped in, launched himself backwards into the water, pulled himself back to the other transom, hooked up the kite, released himself from the float line, and while strapped into a chair, connected to a board while getting dragged underwater and backwards at times, downwind, he was attempting to fly the kite, a kite that he cannot feel where it is as the kite is connected to the chair and not a harness that he is wearing. Remember when Ryan did that drill where he tied his hands and feet? That drown-proofing drill seriously helped prepare him for this. Okay, now back to Ryan explaining what is going on.
So as you saw in the videos, we can get up and ride, and we can even kind of stay upwind, but the challenge is what to do if you fall. Because what happens is when you fall, let's say my hand is the kite and the kite's pulling you this way, here's the board, being dragged with your head kind of at the water line or a little bit underwater, and you need to get the board like this, sort of like how you would be on a regular kiteboard where the board is in between you and the kite in order to get up and ride. But to get from here to here is super hard for a couple of reasons. One of the main reasons is on this setup, you're not wearing a harness. The kite isn't connected to you, the kite is connected to the chair. So it tends to pull the board this way. And this acts almost like a parachute would in the air, except that it's in the water. It's just pulling against all that water. I talked to Thierry Schmitter, the guy who was really primarily responsible for designing this thing. He's a Paralympic sailor, he's a good kiter and just a good guy. And he designed it in such a way that when you're up and riding, you're able to go upwind and that you're able to maneuver and do jumps and things, But the trade-off for that is that it becomes very, very difficult to get into launching position. The idea is, how do we get this higher performance setup into the right position? According to Thierry, you just take the lines that are connected to the bar, pull them down in between your knees, which will pull the nose towards the kite, and then you can more easily get into the position to go.
Basically, what Ryan's trying to figure out is he doesn't have that upper body strength like the other guys do, so he can't pull that line in. He has to create something.
This is our experiment for today. This is a kite leash. What this does is this allows me to connect to a tow rope from the dinghy, and Nicole can drag me. Hopefully, I can reach down and grab this line and pull on it, which now pulls the tow rope towards the nose of the board, which should, in theory, spin the nose of the board towards the dinghy and allow me to reposition the board into the correct orientation. What are the risks here? Well, the biggest risk, of course, is drowning. Sort of mitigate that, one, Nicole's gonna have to pay attention and stop towing me if I'm submerged too long. And two, this is rigged where I can just reach down here and pop this quick release, which should then, you know, clear itself away from the board. So now I'm just floating sort of half upside down, but at least I have a chance of you know, being able to get to air.
These are the conditions that we are going to try this. There's a shitload of current, and of course it's super windy. Squalls are coming through and it's really choppy. I guess it's a good time to try it, right?
Go ahead.
The handle?
I got it. No, I'm not gonna be holding it.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Ryan's getting dragged, face underwater, and his body and board are behind him. He needs to get his body and board in front of him, which we can see he's able to do using this new method. Bringing you to me! And now we wanted to see if it was possible to launch safely out of the dinghy. Do you feel confident to try it with a kite next?
Yeah, I think we're there, but the problem is we don't have any system in place for retrieving the kite. We don't have any way for like somebody in a boat with a harness to pick up the kite, you know, take it from me, and you know what I mean?
We need Audrey.
Audrey would be good, David would be good. Or, you know, you need to learn how to drive a boat while flying the kite. And well, I breathed in a lot of water, like my lungs hurt.
Yeah, let's get back to the boat. Yesterday we were out in the dinghy and it was relatively successful. I didn't drown Ryan. Today we've got David and his wife. They're gonna join us to see how we're gonna do with now flying the kite. We've got a little extra security, so it's not just me.
Windy, huh?
Hi.
Hello.
Lots of wind.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So you ride, then when you fall, you can let go of the bar if you wish. You pull like this, and it pulls the bar to the front, and the thing it just turns, and then you just grab here and release.
Okay.
C'est facile, hein?
New experience.
That's it, exactly.
All is new.
Thank you for coming today.
No problem.
So this is the next step, and then from here Ryan will get more ideas, and then we can figure out how the two of us can just do it, the two of us, off of Kiapa Nui. But this is just giving us more ideas and ammunition to work with. Ryan is securing himself in the seat. Kind of inflatable sled thing is awesome. Unfortunately, we don't have one on board. I don't know if he could get the bar to his hands, if he could reach it or not, but he had David get into the water to get a hold of the kite so that Ryan could get out of the ski and breathe a little. They're gonna switch now, and David's gonna try it. They're gonna take turns to kind of figure this out. David was a professional windsurfer and he owns a kiteboarding school out here, and he's also able-bodied, and he too was finding the sit ski a bit challenging. He did get up and ride for a little bit, but didn't last too long, and I didn't capture what happened next. I had to put the camera down quick so I could kind of help out. Definitely challenging. Now, some of the guys out there, Thierry and Willem, for example, who are kind of ripping on the sit skis, they have a partial paralysis from a spinal cord injury. They have the upper body strength in the arms, whereas Ryan definitely does not have that upper body strength. So we are facing maybe a couple more challenges, but we'll figure this out. We've got a few more tools in our pocket that we can kind of work with. So stay tuned. If you liked this episode, please give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, we would love it if you would subscribe and mark that little or click that little notification bell so you know when our next video comes out.